I've just been cutting on a couple ash trees here for a few days, and part of me is just kind of tired of it. I'm ready to do some splitting, and I figured I'd go ahead and stop for a few of these and show some tips. So we're going to first start talking about smaller pieces like this. Now, of course, if you're going to let this dry out for a few years before you're even going to use it, this may be small enough anyway that you're not too worried about it. I'm going to go ahead and split it just to kind of show you that. Some of these other ones I'm going to show as well are ones that are kind of borderline for me, worth it or not. So when you look at this, immediately you should notice that there were branches here and here. So when you think about the grains and the inside of the wood, what it's going to look like whenever you split it, you're going to have a lot of trouble trying to split this down along where this branch was. You're also going to have a lot of trouble going here. However, there don't appear to be any knots on this side or any knots on this side. So what we're going to do is take this and split it down this way. That's what we're going to aim for. Even if we're a little off center, won't be too bad. But with this being such a small piece, we're good to go ahead and hit it right in the center and shouldn't have any difficulties. Now, one thing you can do is if you're wedged in here nice and tight where the log is not going to immediately fall off of your axe, you can actually hit the blunt end of your axe into your stump and use that to lodge it further. So I just want to show you what happens when you get off center and you have a large knot. You can see it really wasn't willing to pry itself apart here. That knot was holding it so tight that even though I slammed it several times, it took quite a bit to, it was going to take quite a bit of effort to dislodge it. However, I just went ahead and gave up on that spot, went back in to recenter my blow, and I got a real nice straight piece here. So don't always feel like you have to go with the initial spot that you get your axe into. You actually waste a lot of energy doing that, and this will actually dry out pretty well and help get your fires caught later on. Of course, you can also just take these and pry them apart, and you can see how nasty of a knot that was. So we're trying to not have to use our axe work to get through stuff like that. Here's another piece I cut right where there were two knots. I'm going to go right for the center to avoid these two. But we do have a knot here in the middle of the piece. So I'm going to try and stray to the side of that. Got a good clean piece here. You can see a bit of a knot there that we caught in the middle, but it didn't cause any problems. And I'll go ahead and show you this one. We'll go ahead and get it split one more time and try and avoid that spot there. So you can see the knots in here, but we did do a good job avoiding the difficulty of getting them apart. Here's another nasty looking one. Clearly going to be a knot in there and in here, and possibly in here. So we're going to go for about right here. This one's kind of showing me with the bark and these lines in it that right here might be a good spot to line that up. So you can see that was a pretty good spot there to get that one taken apart. All right, here's one. We've got a knot here, got a knot here. We might have some knots happening up here, here, and here as well. So we can line these guys up here, and I think we can take a nice slice right here. So we're going for the spot right here between all these knots. I missed it just a little bit. And you can see that's where the difficulty is coming, is where we have this cluster of knots here. But taking it down and hitting the blunt end of the axe against the stump, I was able to shake it loose. And you can actually see pretty well that we actually split this knot here in half with that cut. Got another simple one here. Knot here, knot here, nothing going on here. On this side we've got a knot here and here. So I'm gonna go for right here. And you can tell how straight and smooth that cut got me a really level plane here. This one had all sorts of little suckers coming out of it. I'm trying to avoid some of those. Those spots are usually where a larger limb had come off and it was healing over and sending out new growth there. I think I've got a spot right here where I can draw a line. The other side looks clear. See, that got it apart. This one's small enough, I'm not going to go ahead and cut it again. You could if you want, but even just exposing that much is going to help it dry out faster. Alright, this one's pretty nasty. We got this big wound over here, and we've got a piece here as well. But on this side, nice and clear, and on this side, nice and clear. This one is likely to go into the wood further, so we're actually going to go a little off center if we can. Which was not what I just did. There we go. So it's definitely in too close on this side. You can tell when it stops trying to pull its way out. It stops trying to pull its way out here because it's getting into this tighter zone because of that, where that branch was. But out here, nice and flat, we found about the center point between the two knots, and that's really what you're looking for on those, where you've got two branches coming out. Nasty knot here, somewhat of an old knot here, might be more underneath that we don't realize. But we're gonna, you can see actually the amount of curving that this does here. We want to avoid that and that. So really I want to get in about right here where that starts. Didn't get far enough over, so I got stuck pretty quick. I kind of hit the same spot. But I was able to get it through. But still, it would have been easier if I had actually got my initial hit further away from it. But it was still not too bad of a split. And that's just how it goes. You got to look for the right place to hit. You're not always going to get it exactly where you want. But you got to determine if it's worth it to start in a new spot or just go back in with a little bit more force. Another one here. Got a knot right here. Another knot under here. think I can get a line out of it right about here. Avoided those pretty well. Not here. Not here. Try and draw a line right here. And you can tell I got into the knot here at the bottom. Wasn't as clean as I wanted to get it, but make it stacking it a little bit more annoying, but still it's split good enough. Not looking for perfection. This looks fun. Not. I think I got a good enough spot right here where I can just get past between these knots here if I get it just right. All right. And sometimes they just don't go as deep as you expect them to. Knot here, here, bigger one here, here. So if I can avoid those two and get it right about here, well, that'd be going through this one. Right here. Sometimes I have to turn it because the base or these are not exactly level. But I think right here, at least seeing the bark, if I get right here in the middle, we'll be good. You can see the two knots that I got into here, here, and here. Giant knot here. And we had one right at the base. Looks like I cut into there in a good spot. I'm gonna go for right in the center. You can see, had the knot right in here, but we avoided that pretty well. You can tell there were some knots in the middle here that you couldn't actually see from the outside, but they were all fairly small because that had been when the tree was really young. So I got a pretty nasty one here, you can see. And I'm gonna actually try it from the top here. See if I can get it to split down to those. And I've just about got it through. And you can see just how nasty it becomes when you're trying to take the knot out. So getting the knot right in the center on a big knot like that is definitely helpful. This one had some damage here in the past that it tried to heal over. I don't think it's going to cause us much issue, and in fact this was exposed, so it's probably actually weaker. So we're actually going to go ahead and target that spot. Nice and easy. Actually, that's all the small rounds I have today. And we'll get back out here soon, and I'll show you how to get rid of some of these larger rounds and get those cut up and use some wedges in those as well. Thanks for watching.